Residents of Camp Ashraf, by Iraqi security forces, we come together again on the 9th evening of solidarity to show our support for Camp Ashraf's brave residents. Today's gathering also coincides with the opening of schools and universities in Iran, as it does in many other parts of the world. The month of Meh in the Iranian calendar has always been significant as students and intellectuals return to their studies after a 3-month summer recess. Successive Iranian governments have viewed the month of Meh as a threat to their establishment, as after months of separation, students come together again in the classroom. This is historically also the month that demonstrations against the Iranian regime are rife, as they have been this year. Mass protests have taken place in Iran, where thousands of Iranians have gathered in Tehran and other major cities to demand an end to the current dictatorship ruling Iran. As news comes out of Iranian prisons that young Iranians who have demanded basic freedoms have been executed and tortured, it has become increasingly evident that the struggle to protect Camp Ashraf is intertwined with the Iranian people's demands for democracy and freedom. Furthermore, earlier this week in the United Nations General Assembly, a meeting took place in New York. Statesmen and women representing all the world's people met at the headquarters of the United Nations. When the Iranian President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad took to the podium, he addressed an empty assembly. His presence and address was widely boycotted by statesmen and women in protest at the appalling repression and human rights violations in Iran. Now more than ever, we must join in solidarity and support for the Iranian youth, for the people of Camp Ashraf, and for the hunger strikers who have not eaten for 61 days. Ladies and gentlemen, in this part of this evening's programme, I ask you to join me in listening and watching the speech given by Mrs. Maryam Rajavi, the President-elect of the National Council of Resistance of Iran. From her residence in Paris, Mrs. Rajavi addressed a gathering of exiled Iranians in New York City who raised their voices in harmony with those of their countrymen and women inside Iran to say no to the dictatorship and no to the repression and tyranny, and yes to democracy, yes to human rights, and yes to freedom. Thank you.